What's up again, everybody? Thanks for swinging back by my channel, the best of my recollection. Bow hunting is a sport of failure. It's a game. It requires practice, research. You got to know a lot of things about things to do in the woods and the mountains. You can do everything right and screw things up at the very, very last second and be unsuccessful. Or the opposite can happen. You can climb up in a tree stand and be sitting there for 10 minutes and a giant deer walks by, you put a perfect shot on it and it dies 10 seconds later right in front of you. A lot of bad things can happen. You could shoot a deer in the leg, your arrow can ricochet off a tree and hit the deer in the ass, you can miss the deer, and you don't always know exactly what happened right when it happens. It was probably around 2009. We were living in Salt Lake City. I'd done a lot of bow hunting in the Wasatch area. That is a archery only area. You're not allowed to hunt with a gun there. There's some ski resorts there, a bunch of highly traveled public hiking trails, mountain bikers, people going for walks. You can get away from the crowds though just by going off the trail and climbing up the mountains. So one night I was gonna go up one of the canyons, sleep overnight at the top, do some hunting, come back down. I left pretty late, so I knew I would be getting at the top of the mountain right as the sun was going down. I hiked up, didn't take that long, maybe like an hour. I start taking off my backpack and looking around for a place to put my tent. And I look over to my right, close to the top of the ridge, are two bull elk and they're fighting. I only had about 15 minutes of daylight left. It's a perfect situation because the way this little knife ridge is, all I have to do is go along the ridge I'm on and then drop down behind, and those bulls can't see me or smell me or hear me. That's exactly what I did, and it worked out awesome. By the time I got over there, those two bulls had gone down the hill far enough to where they were behind some trees. I got right up on top of them here. I don't remember if I actually bugled, but I hit my little cow call, just meow, meow. I don't want to get skylined or silhouetted, so I make sure to get down the hill a couple steps, and I'm in some pine trees here, and there's a perfect 20-yard shooting lane right in front of me, and I know the bulls are right on the other side of these pine trees. Keep hitting the cow call, probably 5 minutes of shooting light left. So I hear them. I hear the bulls coming in. I see the first one. He comes right up. I'm totally still. He's walking right towards me, looking for the cow that he just heard. He comes up. He turns broadside, perfectly broadside, 16 yards away. And I'm shooting arrows like this. Normally, I shoot those luminox that light up when you shoot them, right? You can see where your arrow went, and if you miss, you know that you missed. It's awesome. I highly recommend those. So, bull is at 16 yards, broadside. Pull my bow back, center it right in the engine room, and let her fly. When the arrow goes, I don't see where it lands, but I see one of these fletchings fly up into the air. And the bull just turned and kind of trotted back down the hill. Both bulls. I know the fletching flew up into the air. I can't tell what happened to the arrow. I know that it hit a branch. A lot of times when you shoot a really big animal like an elk, if it doesn't hit a bone, they won't always feel it. I've seen elk get shot and they didn't even know that they were hit, and they just kept walking around right there, and then they just tipped over and died. If a bull's been hit with an arrow, sometimes he will still respond to a cow call. So as I hit the cow call, one of the bulls came back up and turned again broadside and stood there at 16 yards. The problem is I couldn't be 100% sure that I missed the first bull. I knew that's probably what happened, but I couldn't be 100% sure. And if I had shot this bull and then killed it and then found out that I actually did hit the other bull, that would be a bad situation. I knew the most ethical and smartest thing to do would be to just not take the shot at him. It turned out that I was right, that I did miss the first one. My arrow went in the ground. I waited till the next morning to find that arrow. Now, what happened later that night is even crazier. I got caught in the gnarliest rain and lightning storm. I'm sleeping way on top of this mountain, which is always a stupid idea, and I don't know why. There was some weather coming in. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Then 20 minutes later, I woke up and it was 50-mile-an-hour winds. extreme rain pounding down. There was lightning hitting trees all over the top of that mountain, and I was fucking scared out of my mind. So I had to evacuate. But when I packed everything up really quick, I bombed straight down the face of this bowl, and I tripped and fell so many times. That sucked. I was soaking wet. I probably didn't get any sleep that night. I woke up the next morning. There was a deer laying down right in the spot where that bull had been standing. It was a small buck. He jumps up, runs away. I find my arrow in the dirt. Fletching was gone. Clean miss, whatever. So that's one of those stories where making the right decision led to me going home empty-handed, but it's so awesome to see gigantic animals up close like that, especially in the middle of the rut when these bulls, both of them are super pissed off and all they want to do is fight and hurt each other. To get one of them like that to walk right up to you for a close archery shot, it is some intense shit. And it's one reason I miss the mountains, but there's a lot of fun to be had in Michigan and all over the Midwest. Bow hunting for deer. We also have a small elk herd right here in Michigan. I've seen them up close too, and that was pretty awesome. I'll save that one for another story. So take it easy. Thanks for checking out the best of my recollection.